And you're live.
Hi there. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to this session on where we'll discuss driving data-driven innovation. It takes more than great algorithms. My name is Kathy Koontz, and I am a principal analytics platform strategist with AWS. I work with a global team that helps our customers deliver sustainable competitive advantage from their data and analytics investments. And we want to help them understand, changes that need to be made across the organization that can allow that sustainable competitive advantage to be driven broadly across an organization and at scale. And so what I'd like to do is spend our time together. I'm not going to be doing any deep dives into coding tips and tricks or different tools or AWS services. But what I want to talk to you about is other considerations that you need to have in order to ensure that all of your hard work can deliver value for your organization. And so, the talk that I'm going to give today is based on AWS helping thousands of customers become data-driven organizations as they unleash the power of the cloud to improve their business performance. And so let's get at it. So, one of the things that you see in the data here, and these are two different studies, is that 99% of blue chip companies are investing in data, but only 24% believe that they've been successful in creating a data-driven organization. And why is that? Well, this study cited that 92% of companies cite culture, people, process, organization, change management as the biggest impediment. It's not the technology. There's great technology that can solve a lot of problems. We hear a lot about skill gaps and labor shortages, and certainly that's part of it. But you see here, it is how an organization aligns its people, processes, its organizational structures, and change management to ensure that the value of data and analytics is unleashed. And that's oftentimes what we see, working with data scientists is a big hurdle for them to ensure that the work that they do delivers the impact and the value that they like. I know every data scientist I've ever worked with is, passionate about delivering game-changing organizational value. And you can have the best data and the highest predictiveness within your models using the most advanced algorithms. But until this culture problem is solved, it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle to realize that sustainable competitive advantage and that organizational impact from data and analytic work. So, how do you make progress? Well, what we see with organizations that are successful in making this pivot is it really starts with changing the mindset and how the organization sees getting value from data. Now, first off, it's really understanding, what is a data-driven organization? And you can see here that this is how we have defined it at AWS based on our experience, working with our customers, including when Amazon.com migrated into AWS. And so, it starts off with an organization that harnesses data as an asset. Yes, we've all heard that that's a recommendation, but the way we see companies be successful with that is thinking about their data and analytics services as products, right? Those products need to drive sustained innovation. It can't just be a once and done, but it has to be designed to be sustainable and scalable. It needs to create actionable insights, not just interesting ones. I've seen a lot of hard work go into, finding insights, creating predictions, building really robust data models that have been disconnected from a business need. And when taken to a business leader who has to use it to create that organizational value, they don't find it actionable. And that leads into the next point. You want to supercharge the experience for the users of your data products. Now, those users might be, an external company. Let's say if you're in a financial services organization and you're creating predictions and recommendations to allow people to run robust what-if scenarios on their retirement portfolio. But that experience could also be perhaps an investment manager at a small investment firm, and you want to ensure that they have insights into how their customers are using the products within your from your financial services firm, and make sure those advisors have a great experience so they will recommend your products more often. And when you do that, then they demand more data products from you. And this is our data flywheel that you see here that, starts off with this data product that's designed to create this great customer experience for whoever is using it. It's architected to capture feedback on the value that it's creating. So that could be qualitative feedback, such as people are using the dashboard, or they are giving a thumbs up that the recommendations from the model are appropriate. But that feedback also needs to be qualitative. Data products should be released to affect a business outcome. And so they need to be, regularly monitored to see if they are affecting that outcome. You can use that data, evaluate that feedback data to then enhance the product and create an even better customer experience. And then that's how the flywheel gets turning. You can also then use that data and other data you have in your environment to experiment for new data products. And that's the great thing about the cloud, is that experimentation can happen at a very rapid pace and in a very agile manner. It's no longer with the time horizons that we had when we were experimenting with on-premises solutions, where you had to get space in the data center, you had to estimate your peak demand, you had to ensure you had a license for anybody who might ever access, your application. Those days are gone. But the thing we see in many organizations is, they may be using this very scalable and agile technology, but they still have processes that are more aligned to when they were working on premises, or the way they have organized their teams, or the skill sets in their people are more linked to those on-premises solutions, as opposed to aligned to exponentially enhance the agility and scalability of the technology. So getting this people, process, and technology right, so that at best it doesn't interfere with the agility of the cloud, or at a minimum it doesn't interfere, and at best it exponentially enhances that, is critical, and is a barrier we see a lot of organizations struggle with. So, if you think about that concept of a flywheel, here is a customer of AWS that we worked with, who has a global business with a very diverse customer base. They were growing rapidly, and they had a unique culture and reputation that they wanted to be able to maintain while simultaneously meeting the needs of a very diverse global base. And so that first turn of the flywheel was to create a common understanding of their customer across products, inventory, sales, and those customer attributes that would create insights into customer trends, demand patterns, and segments, and allow them to rapidly test and learn personalized communications so that they could increase engagement, sales value, and diversify and increase shopping baskets. The second turn of the flywheel, even though it's directed at a totally different part of the organization about demand sensing and pricing, built on the work from this first flywheel turn. And the second flywheel turn used these insights in customer trends and demand patterns and segments to create this real-time demand sensing and pricing that would allow them to scale personalization across all of their channels. Again, focused on increasing sales and profitability, reducing markdowns, and enhancing customer shopping experience. So this is an illustrative example that shows how that flywheel in practice can work. Now, one of the things that needs to happen to allow that flywheel to spin unencumbered in a rapid way is aligning your data strategy with modern capabilities and best practices. And at AWS, we follow a lot of the tenets of best practices, such as centralize the data, allow different analytics tools to be able to be brought to that data, use the right tool for the right job. So you see here, you can have a centralized data lake that has a central catalog with central governance, so you can monitor the data and understand who's using it and how they're using it. But then you can bring different tools to bear on that data and allow data to move, the tool to access the data both from a tool into the data, as well as allowing different tools to share data across the outside of the circle. So this might look like, leveraging an effective tool for log analytics against your web logs in the data lake. Perhaps creating some new metrics or predictions that can help with personalization, or can alert if there are changes in online shopping behavior, and storing those in a more relational form so that they could be more easily consumed within a data warehouse. But this is how we see organizations able to provide the right level of governance and security around their data, but then provide the right set of tools to the individuals in the organizations who are using that data to realize the benefits that you see here on the right side of the screen. And so why do you need all those different tools? Well, if you're building applications with loosely coupled microservices, then, you need different tools to accomplish different tasks. And you can see how those different tools are manifested here on one, retail website, right? Where you're using an indexed optimized store such as Elasticsearch for your search. Your shopping cart results are, going into a relational database. Your customer reviews are coming from a key value database, and a graph database that is, best for understanding relationships is what's driving your recommendations. So you can see here how those different analytic services are presented within a microservices architecture. Now, another way we see organizations able to overcome some of these barriers about delivering analytic value at scale is by moving toward this construct of a modern data community that has a centralized team that creates a data marketplace that allows producers to easily onboard data and consumers to easily find, subscribe to, and use that data. The team in the middle, the marketplace team, is not focused on managing the data or controlling the data. They are focused on creating automation and controls that can simplify the process of bringing data onto the platform and appropriately using that data within the organization. The producers bring the data in. The marketplace team creates automated onboarding, data quality checks, works to create training and community across the organization. Consumers can then find that data, request access to it that goes to the data producer, and then use that data. And then oftentimes consumers will become data producers because, a data engineer may engineer new features for a model. A data scientist may find new insights and predictions that they can put back into the marketplace, thereby making the work of one person or one team available broadly across the enterprise. And this is a construct that we see organizations use to really unlock not just the power of their data, but the power of their people who are using that data to create new value added data products within the organization so that they're not stored only in a myriad of different dashboards or models or Excel spreadsheets, or even PowerPoints, but they're available to be discovered and used across the organization. Another aspect of creating this data-driven culture and ensuring usage of data products is considering data literacy. Data literacy varies within organizations and within different groups within the organization. And it's important to consider the literacy of the individuals who will be consuming the data products that you might create. So first of all, it's important to contextualize the data, right? And provide a perspective on the relevance and applicability so that people trust the data and can understand how to use it effectively. It's also helpful to develop a narrative. So, charts and graphs are great, but, there are folks within the organization who may not necessarily be able to understand how to use them to drive improved decision making. And so the ability to develop a narrative from that chart and graph broadly across an organization is key for increasing data literacy. And then, finally, ensuring that, your designs and visualizations simplify understanding, right? Thinking about the context within which the person who's using this data product will be interacting with it, and designing it with intention so that it's easy for them to understand and use in the moment of their decision making. So here's an example of an organization that we worked with to help them in their journey to become data-driven. This is a biopharma that actually re-engineers individual cancer patient cells so that they can target that individual patient's cancer. And the patients who receive this therapy are at the end of the line. They don't have any other therapies available for them. So it's critical that their manufacturing process is rigorous and can be monitored, and failure points predicted, and people can intervene in advance so that the therapies don't fail during that re-engineering process. And so we worked with them to create an end-to-end paperless environment leveraging IoT, AI/ML, and advanced analytics to offer resiliency across the manufacturing systems and provide proactive alerts if a cell therapy batch was at risk for failure. And out of the gate, they realized an initial savings the first time they used the dashboard of $80,000. That was 4 patient therapies that were at risk of failure that were recovered. And every failed therapy, because these patients are so sick, represents a possible patient death. So you can see how applying the right tools with the right outcomes and a thought of presenting that information within the context of that data consumer can really drive significant results for an organization and their customers. So, how do you get started? What if your organization is struggling with this? Well, AWS has a couple of programs that are free to our customers. They are investments that AWS makes into the customer. On the right side, you see a data lab that is a 1 to 4 day engagement with AWS service experts that can help you build a prototype and launch it into production with the folks at our customers actually doing the building with guidance from AWS experts. On the left side is a more comprehensive program. if you want to build a data vision and a strategy, but you're struggling to get alignment across business and IT on that vision and be able to mobilize and execute against that strategy, then we have a data-driven everything program. And these are joint engagements with business and technology stakeholder alignment. We work to create an organizational vision for innovation, and this uses Amazon's innovation methodology, working backwards to create this organizational vision and alignment. Our tagline for the Data Driven Everything program is Think Big, Start Small, and Scale Fast. So we help create that vision and identify the scope for a production-ready MVP that can be built and launched and in the hands of users in 60 days to be that first turn of your data flywheel with a longer-term roadmap that can enable continuous innovation. And so these are two programs that AWS has available to help you get started on your data-driven journey. So please feel free to reach out to your AWS account team if you're interested in either of these programs. And that is my presentation for today. I'll see if we have any questions, but I see we are pretty much at time.